Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Rated E for everyone. Includes in-game purchases. Includes random items. EA Sports FC 26 is here. Play your way this holiday season with an overhauled gameplay experience powered by community feedback. Enjoy festive upgrades in Ultimate Team with winter wildcards. Take on holiday-themed challenges and manage your career, like navigating the busy Christmas period. And team up with friends and clubs with new tournaments and live events. The club is yours. Give the gift of football with EA Sports FC 26.
This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
All right. Good morning. Hello there. Oh, wow. There's the voice. There's the throat. Good morning, early morning family. It's me, TJ, on Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack on the Red Apple Audio Networks. Good morning. And, I hope you had a great Christmas, and I hope the new year coming up is blah, blah, blah. And already I'm like every other talk host in America talking about Christmas and New Year's. And, so let me not talk about Christmas and New Year's. By the way, 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. 848-9222. Talking to you once again live, just about barely live, surviving in Liverpool in the United Kingdom, coming to you from a still very, very dark. It's it's 8 minutes past the hour here in the UK, 7:08 a.m. and still absolutely pitch black out there. It's the weirdest thing, being just north enough on the globe where the morning starts, where the sun comes up so much later and sets so much earlier. And that is just, it's one of the bizarre things about coming to different parts of the world. And again, here in the UK, you don't necessarily think in terms of latitude and longitude and stuff, but it's just enough. So sitting here in the living room, once again, the remote studio for Another Side of Midnight, not the Bernard McGurk's Memorial Studio in Midtown Manhattan, but rather the George and Irene Murphy not Memorial. My parents-in-law are still very, very alive and very, very British and very, very with us. Thank God. Although they are admittedly, as I've said before, part of my retirement plan. I've never actually said that out loud in front of them, but it's kind of well documented. I'm living here in the home of the people who have spent a life saving and have spent a life working hard and have put things away for the future. The future, I would like to hope I'm a part of it. And and they blessedly only have 2 kids, and my wife has a brother. They get along. So really, hopefully, there will not be a lot of protracted litigation. So when the very unfortunate time comes, as it will be, because I love them massively and dearly, my parents, on the other hand, God knows what's put away. God knows what kind of insanity is going to ensue in my family. There's about 114 grandchildren. There's like 4.5 children in terms of who knows who's where. I mean, dysfunctional is so when it comes to my retirement savings, which is again predicated on the right people moving on to the next plane at the right time. It's really kind of like a one-stop subway, and I'm here paying my respects in advance. Oh God, am I being morbid or what? Nah, they've got a great sense of humor. They're actually really, they're in better shape than me. If you can hear my voice, that's kind of, here I am talking about, jokingly, of course, joking about, the situation with in-laws, who, tomorrow is, my father-in-law turns 79, and he still plays golf all summer long. And my mother-in-law, who's a couple of years behind him, and the two of them are out there driving and out there just shopping and walking and doing and playing and all this stuff. And they go to Spain like 6 times a year. They have a little bungalow there in Spain. Spain for the British is like the Jersey Shore is for New Yorkers, Cape Cod or something like that. But I think the Jersey Shore is the best example for people on the East Coast. And out west, obviously, if somewhere on the Red Apple Audio Networks, if you're someone in California, when the Brits have a little place in Spain, it's like having just a small mansion in Palm Springs, for example. But anyway, so yeah, they're doing fantastic. Me, I've got this, you can hear this frog I've got in my throat. Last week did the show, landed, here in the UK, on, the morning of Saturday, the 20th, and, wasn't able to do that show because with the time difference and stuff, I was just getting on the ground when this show would have been starting. We were able to move a few things and do a, program, Sunday morning. And, like the next day, immediately, proceeded to not so much get sick, but get this raging throat thing. I don't know if it's like just a very picky bug that only enjoys the throat of a male human. I have no idea what's going on in the tracheal thing here, but it like jumped in with luggage and a small family of germs, and this small family of germs decided to unpack, and it wasn't an overnight. They decided to stay. They have now lodged, and it's like my throat is like an Airbnb for a colony of nasty bug germ something or others that have just clung, and it hasn't always been sore, it hasn't always been throaty or raspy, but it's been uncomfortable and weird and tight and can't swallow, and other times it's no problem swallowing but it's sore. It's been absolutely a conundrum. It's a classic go to some other foreign land and catch an odd bug. It's also probably most definitely I would think, because it's come and gone in stages over the last few days since last Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was, that they moved in, where this thing I've started to feel flu-y, but not because I got the flu shot. I always get the flu shot. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm an anti-COVID vaxxer. If any of you lunatics out there are getting COVID boosters, just don't. Oh God, now I sound like Biden. Don't. Yeah. Just, I mean, come on. All right, listen, if you're going to get that, get it. But it's just a waste of time and a waste of arm space, and you're going to get sick, and that's how you're going to get friggin' COVID, is by getting the stupid booster. But anyway, I get the flu vaccine every year because every year without fail, I end up getting something that I know would have been the flu. I know it would have been a devastating, because you feel it get into your joints and it gets into the this and the that, and then it just kind of mitigates and fades. And I go, that would have been the flu. And every year. And so this year, maybe this is my European version of almost getting full blown sick. But anyway, you can hear this. And so I have been a preventative, like I'm walking around. I've got my blood type is honey. I am literally full of raw honey, echinacea. And so 1-800-848-9222. If any of you, because there's a few things that you get advice on in life. Few things that you get advice on. One is when you're having a baby. Okay. Obviously the world just, they love to, which is lovely, which is all part of the ritual of being pregnant and having a baby and all that, is when people, loved ones, strangers, old friends, people with the advice. And it's lovely and it's sweet and it's always earnest and nice. But you get inundated with advice and, helpful hints and tips. The most invasive, the most information that you will ever get, the most unsolicited, that's what I wanted to say, the most unsolicited advice. This is something that I will go to my grave saying. The most unsolicited advice you will ever receive is if you mention to people that you are going to Disney. If you're going to Disney World or Disneyland and you put it out there on social, kiddos can't wait, told the kiddos today, or they put a video up of it, we're going to Disney. And then all of a sudden, bam, 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 here comes every bit of advice about where to stay, how to get there, what the flippin' meal plan for Disney. Oh my God. If you think you're going to Disney, and by the way, yes, I'm listening in my own head to this monologue, and I realize I am officially all over the place, but I'm loving it. The meal plan. If you think you're going to Disney and you're going to stop at noon, buy a burger and fries and dogs for the kids and just sit back and have a nice paper cup of Coca-Cola. You are so wrong and mistaken, misgiven, and it's a shame because you should be so right. You should be able to go to Disney and grab anyway. Okay. Now there was a tangent that I need to avoid. I won't do that. The other time that you get crazy amounts of advice, obviously, is when you're somebody like me with an obvious froggy throat, okay, and a, not full blown something, but something that's threatening. And that's when people, and it's great, again, earnest, lovely, loving people have their fixes, their old family recipes for hot toddies. And by the way, I would love a hot toddy. Me, more than most people would love a hot toddy. But I have had my last toddy, so 20 and a half years ago is when any sort of toddy left my life. So being sober, I can't do that. And I am in the land of hot toddies. These people love nothing more than to heat up whiskey, throw some butter and sugar or whatever the hell you put into a hot toddy. I think butter goes into a hot toddy. And hot buttered rum. Oh, God, that does sound good. I'll tell you what, these Brits can drink. Holy good Lord, these Brits can drink. They are good at it. They are very good at it. So if you have a trick of the trade, now again, I'm a talker. I've been a comic. I've been on the radio. I've been on TV. So I get the whole throat coat thing, which I was not able to find over here. And I made a stupid mistake of not bringing all of my throat coat from my previous bad voice, which was really only about 2.5 weeks ago. I should have just brought it in the bag, and I didn't, like an idiot. But anyway, I'm aware of the herbal teas. But if anybody out there, all right, again, I've got Manuka honey flowing through my system right now. I could be a bee. I could pollinate just about anything. And boy, that sounds filthy. Talk about Bill Clinton on a flight to Epstein Island. But if you have some sort of remedy, some sort of grandma's recipe to help your throat or something like that, 1-800-848-9222. Also, just anything for this time of year. What do? You do anything to keep yourself healthy? And I wasn't really planning on this, but we kind of landed here, so I'm just throwing this out there as a preliminary topic that absolutely welcome to talk about. And anything and everything. Honestly, the more of you and the less of me, the better. With this thing I got cooking in the throat here. But 1-800-848-9222 if you wish to jump in at any point on that. And also I do know we have a listener, albeit young, but definitely mature beyond her years, to Betsy, a very, very, very happy 13th birthday. 13, an actual proper teenager, is lovely Betsy. And so we wish Betsy a very, very, very happy birthday from right here in Liverpool in the United Kingdom. The sun just fighting to come up on the horizon here in Great Britain, and talking to you all around the country on the Red Apple Audio Networks. This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. We shall be right back. Stay right there.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
All right. Good morning, gang. Hello there. How are you? How is the morning family doing? I hope you're doing a little bit better than me. I'm not sick, but I'm not well. Do you understand? There is a difference. I'm not sick, but I'm not well. And a lot of people would say that about my mental state, for sure. Definitely. That's actually a great snapshot of me since probably about 15 years old. He's not sick, but he's not well. Lovely TJ. Ah, look at him. Look at him pretending to be Jerry Lewis in the mirror. Ah, look at TJ wearing a top hat and shorts and a t-shirt. Nobody understands TJ. 1-800-848-9222. I'm here in the United Kingdom, in Liverpool, on Merseyside, as they call it. Broadcasting all around the United States on the Red Apple Audio Networks, and happy to be doing so as we enter into the next year. And you know, I mentioned I'm here in the UK, in my in-laws' home, and very, very blessed with a really wonderful extended family here in Liverpool. And no place do my daughters feel more welcome and joyful and happy, and it's great. And there's young relatives, there's little kids, and you know, cousins and nephews and nieces in there, everything from their 9, 10, 11 years old up to their 20s. So it's a really great, energetic place to be. But it's, you know, it's just different enough. It's just, I mean, obviously, well, I was going to say the language is still the same, unless, of course, you go to town. And then, Arabic is very much the language of the day, here. But the UK is really, it's not a melting pot. I heard this distinction made one time, is that, you know, you have places that are a melting pot and places that are a fruit salad. And the difference being a melting pot, everything sort of, it's kind of the original version of immigration in America, right? And here in the UK and a lot of other places where people move in from all over the world. You're tired, you're poor, you're huddled masses, all that. Everybody, all the huddled masses come and they get into the pot and they melt and they meld and they assimilate and they emulsify and they all come together. And, you know, and when they go home and they go and they're sitting in their front room, they talk Hungarian, they talk Italian, they talk Hebrew, they talk Yiddish, they talk, you know, but out there, they're all Americans, or they're all Brits, or they're all French, or something like that. And then you have the fruit salad syndrome, the fruit salad scenario where, just like looking at a fruit salad, oh, there's the watermelon. Ah, there's the blueberry. Ah, there's the pineapple. Ah, there's the grape. I see all the distinct fruits. They're all mixed up, but they all maintain for the entire time in that bowl, they maintain all of their individual identities and the flavors. And when you bite into a mouthful of fruit salad, you taste watermelon, grape, blueberry, and there is no distinction, or rather is complete distinction, 100% distinction, from fruit to fruit to fruit to fruit. That's what the UK is like right now. The UK and the way that the US is trending, clearly, New York is kind of there, but here in the UK, it is absolutely fruit salad. You see and sense and can point out and from 20 yards away, you get closer and closer, and then you get right up to or behind or past somebody, and sure enough, not only do they look like they are from somewhere else based on how they're dressed and how they handle themselves and the size of the family and all these things, all these cultural distinctions, ethnic distinctions, you get right up, and they are talking their native tongue, you know, amongst themselves on a phone, and it just is. It just is. And everything is just off enough here. Plus, I love being here. Again, I keep prefacing because it's true. Love my family beyond. I have been, and when it comes to my sobriety, when it comes to the bad old days, when I got well, when I had to get well 20 years ago, this family was right there. Mainly from my wife, as they had to be, as they needed to be, as they should have been. But they were willing to give me that chance. They were willing to embrace me when I was in the process of getting better. And how do you ever not honor that, right? So that preface being said, and this is all about me. This isn't about, actually, I don't even need to give that qualifier right there. I didn't need to really do that disclaimer for this next little paragraph, but this next little paragraph is all about me, because I'm nuts, as also I have said to you many, many times. I am out of my mind, whether it's my selfishness, whether it's my proclivities and odd little, foibles, but I am, after a calendar week being here, already so out of my routines. I need my stuff. I need my things where they are and where they're supposed to be. I am losing every left and right, because when I'm home, something picks up, something goes back where it was. Within a millimeter, it's back where it was. And that's out of habit. That's not out of being particular. That's just because that's just how I do it. God knows I'm not disciplined. It's just a force of habit. I lose stuff when I'm here in England. How are you when it comes to I never ever, this is the only place I stay that's not my home, that's not a hotel. I don't know, and I know there are people up into their 40s, 50s, 60s who can go couch surfing, who can plop in somebody's place and go to the beach, and I'm going to stay with Ray and Gina, or I'm going to go over there. People can do it. They can adapt, and I'm envious of them. There are carefree, happy people. Give me a backpack and a good pair of sneakers, and I can go around the globe. Good. And I can bunk with you. No, I ain't bunking. I'm not a bunker. Okay. I am a check-in. Please tell me, I am a check-in. Make sure my room is not near the elevator. Hotel snob. That's what I am. Okay. And not only do I have to stay in a hotel, the room can't be near the elevator or the ice machine. Okay. So that's me. And that's not even snob. That's just survival. That does not even get to the level of where I'm a snob. That's just me. Please. I don't want to be frazzled. How sad is it that I admit I'm 57 and a half years old, and something like being near the ice machine will frazzle me. Real men don't get frazzled. So I just indicted myself. 1-800-848-9222. And let's go to Eddie in Babylon. Eddie, are you still there, my friend? Line one?
I'm still here. You're great. I was wondering why you're in the UK, but then I realized you married a British girl.
Yeah.
And I talked to you before, and you were very happy. Listen, yes. I remember going up skiing in the Hunter Mountain. The room we got was right at the end of the stairs. The handrail would end, and our doorknob was there, and people would hit it all night.
Oh.
Coming off from that bar. I just looked at my friend, and besides on the mattress being like a banana boat, he was laughing at me when I laid in it. I'm like, oh, no, we need another room. But I called about your voice, and your proclivity about yourself it's welcomed, believe me.
Oh, thank you.
You're not complaining there. What are the commonalities there? I'm a bachelor right now. I say I don't have a good hand, but I need a good gal. I could have 5 sets of keys and not be able to find one. I'm like, where am I? Then I realize it's still in the ignition, because I'm running around doing.
And I'm driving at the time. I'm on the southern state.
Yeah, so you're a Long Islander. Okay, me too. Oh my gosh. So I'm a comedian and all kinds of things, which makes you kind and a disaster at times.
Yes.
But what was it? Steve Martin said that comedy is tragedy plus time. So
100%.
I could have a sitcom, but back to your throat. I was at the 250th anniversary for WABC and our nation. At Cipriano's a couple months back.
Yes. I wish I had met you. I was there too. Oh, okay.
Well, yeah. That was really a great night.
Incredible night. Yeah.
And I owe Joe Piscopo a dinner because I bought my friend Hoboken Mary a ticket, and I thought we'd sit together. But of course, before I left, I blew a radiator hose, so I had to Uber. I couldn't pick her up.
Ain't that perfect?
It's comedy. It really is. How could it happen? And she goes, I'm at table 74. And none of the wait staff knew where table 74 was. They were just bringing food to every table. And here I go, Babylon. And I sit down and talking to her. She goes, you can't sit here. I go, well, why? And she's a place card. It's Joe Piscopo. I go, Okay, so I'll move one over, and I'm sitting next to David Orlando, Tony's brother.
Oh, wow.
And we were talking about his voice, which had been gravelly in the past, but, it's from a nodule or something. And I was saying, well, aloe vera juice is so good for your skin.
Huh.
And I'm also a nuclear medicine technologist. What kind of comedian is that?
Oh, I was just going to say, wow, just throw that away. Okay, I'm a nuclear medicine technologist, by the by.
I couldn't get a date after work if we went to a place because I told a young lady that, and she'd look at me and she'd walk away, and then I just started saying, well, I'm a painter at the hospital. You go, oh, painters make good money. And they got interested in me.
So tell me about the aloe vera juice. So does the aloe vera juice, can that help the throat?
Well, you know what aloe vera does for you when you have a sunburn, and it really heals the skin and all. Yeah. And that same epithelial, your entire, I'll call it your alimentary canal from your head to your tuchus, it's all epithelial skin.
Oh, sure. Actually, who doesn't know that? It's all epithelial.
It's a tube outside your body, so it is very healing. Mm-hmm. I healed myself having gastritis because I've imbibed a bit in the past. You can be on a liquid lunch, breakfast, and dinner sometimes when you're younger.
Yes.
Then a comedian.
Hey.
And so I told him, his brother could gargle with it. And then the good thing about it, you can swallow it also. So your vocal cords get a throat. I know honey's good, but honey's hydrophilic. In other words, it wants to absorb moisture because it's nectar from a beehive, and the bees are over the combs, flapping their wings, trying to dehydrate it.
What the hell don't you know? Jesus Christ. What, you sit there, do you sit there and watch like Discovery Channel and just go, I know.
I canceled cable because I don't like the History Channel, and it just trust me.
Well, because you know more. You know more than cable. You do. Who in the Jesus?
Well,
who in sweet... Hold on a second. I'm going to pay you a compliment. Hold on a second, Eddie. Who in sweet, feathery, mother-loving God Jesus knows out there on the planet, other than Eddie, that bees hover over the nectar? And what were you saying? They dry it off? There's a reason?
They sit there and they flap their wings over while it's in the combs.
Yeah.
And it dehydrates into that thicker thing we call honey. Yeah.
This, by the way.
My father was an apiary. He took bees, kept them, but I wanted to. And my mother said, oh, no, with her Missouri accent.
Eddie, that's...
bees around here, they'll get stung all the time.
Eddie's sticking. Eddie, I got to say, all your women sound the same. You got to differentiate some of the broads. No, but listen, here's the thing, Eddie.
I tell you, I got to find a new one.
Well, that's a good, Rodney. But at that, see, by the way, what Eddie just said, everyone, that right there is proof. Now, in all my years, and I like to know a little about a lot. I definitely like to know. Yeah. I like, walking around knowledge. That's what I call it. Cocktail party information. And I always tell my daughters, I said, I always tell them, just try to absorb. If it seems like it's innocuous, find a place for it in your head. Listen as much as possible, and it's good to have it's like walking around cash. It's like always having a good couple of bucks in your pocket just in case you want to buy a Coke. That kind of thing, right? And walking around knowledge right there, that sort of thing. With all that I have, and I do pride myself on knowing a little about a lot, the idea that bees just so happen to dehydrate the nectar in the combs so that it can make the process of making honey more efficient. That right there is proof beyond anything else that God exists. Only God, only a supreme being, only a higher power can create a universe right down to the molecular level so you would think that, the bees hover. They have to, they're not going to stand on the honeycomb. They're going to hover. And they're going to flap their wings, and it's going to help them to stay above while they pollinate. And then, no. It just so happens that flapping of the wings perfectly serves the purpose and process of dehydrating right there. That is ecosystem with a capital E. That is, and from Eddie with a capital E. That is fascinating stuff right there. And how I did all of that without cursing once, Because so much of that deserved an effing. So much of that, because it's so remarkable. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, buddy. You genuinely made the show better with that stuff. So aloe vera. Okay, I mean, I'll do it. But now here I am thinking that the raw honey was also, because it's also an antibacterial. I'm big on, and what I'm guessing somebody's got to be calling up with something about apple cider vinegar. You talk about trendy. You want to sound like you know what you're talking about in 2026 coming up? Just fold apple cider vinegar into almost any conversation. Find a way to work it in, and you will sound like you know what you're talking about. You'll sound innovative. You'll sound innovative in an old-fashioned way. And make sure you mention the mother. Make sure you mention, it has to be raw. It has to be unfiltered, apple cider vinegar with the mother. I don't know if you know, but the mother is that cloudy. Yeah. No, it's that cloudy. It looks like gunk. It looks like gunk, but it's good gunk. It's good. Oh, trust me. You want that mother. You want that mother. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. No, that's at midnight. Let's talk to, let's go to E. Frank. Hello there, E. Frank. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, TJ.
Hi.
Hi, and thanks for taking my phone call.
Of course.
I'm calling because I just want to tell you how grateful I am to be alive today in this era that we live in, the other side of the spectrum of where I was almost 53 years ago.
Midnight.
You know, my mother and myself, you know, we used to visit a factory buddy of hers that lived in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
And, you know, we were boarding a plane, you know, specifically Eastern Airlines Flight 401. She gave the flight attendant, the ticket agent, her U.S. permanent resident alien card and my birth certificate. Back then, they didn't use certain forms of ID to get on airplanes. Mm-hmm. And you know, I was innocently, you know, saying to myself, "Oh, you know, I'm going to Miami, Florida, on a Dreamliner L1011. You know, this is
that had the big engine in the tail." Yeah,
and you know, I'm a new life. I'm 2.5 years old, and we boarded the plane December 29, 1972. You know, and everyone's very happy in the plane, and, you know, Captain Loft is talking to all the passengers, you know, and saying how are they feeling, and if everything's fine, and we're going to enjoy our flight to Miami. You know, and, you know, the flight to Miami is only 2.5 hours from New York. So, you know, I'm one of the passengers with my mother, and all of a sudden, you know, the bad news came that Captain Loft said to everyone in the plane when we were nearing Miami International Airport that the plane was having some sort of problems landing because controller Albert Johnson couldn't, you know, really figure out how to land the plane at 2,000 feet in altitude. So I wasn't too nervous about it, but, you know, I approached the cockpit and asked what's going on, you know, and they didn't answer because I was a 2.5-year-old child.
I was going to say 2.5 years old. You had the wherewithal to get up and go. E. Frank, this is the first time that there's ever been a wobble in your story. This is the first time, my friend, that there's ever been an odd little wobble.
No, because records.
It sounds like you caught yourself in a little bit of a wobble. Go ahead. 2.5. All right, so I'll take it. Okay, so 2.5 years old. And at that point, you can look right up the stewardess's skirt. Back then, they were stewardesses. They wore skirts. 2.5. Great excuse. Anyway, so you're walking you go to the cockpit. How did you get their attention?
Well, I talked to one of the stewardesses, one of them being, her name was, Alicia Bautista, the other one, Joanna Carrasco.
Joanna Carrasco and Alicia Bautista sound like two of the hottest 1970s eras. Were they good looking?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cuban.
Ufa. Cubana. Go on, sorry. Yes.
So, Bert
I love Cafe Bustelo. That's something else I'm missing.
Bert Stockstill and Don Repo was
I'm drinking my espresso coffee here. And you just reminded me of Cafe Bustelo. I just remembered that I something else that I miss from home right now, although I love being in England, is my coffee in the morning. Go on. I'm so sorry, E. Frank. Go on. I'm sorry. So you spoke to Bautista and the other flight attendant. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Joanna Carrasco.
Joanna Carrasco. Right. Good.
Okay. She's Colombian.
Woofa. Oh my God. Wow. Colombian and Cubana. Wow.
Right.
Both brunettes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
it's not the only thing coming up. Go on,
somehow,
baby. Yeah.
Captain John Loft accidentally hit the autopilot.
Why would you hit the autopilot? The autopilot's your friend. You got the autopilot. E. Frank, well, you see, that's where pilot John Loft, tank commander, that's where he went wrong. And that's why I bet you. And I'm glad we're finally catching up on this because you never got to this part of the story before. I bet you when he hit the autopilot was like, what in the hell are you hitting me for? I'm here to help. I'm your friend. You need me. Loft. And you're hitting me? How dare you? And I bet you that's what I bet you a fight ensued in the cockpit between pilot John Loft, Captain John Loft, and the autopilot. You don't go around hitting the autopilot. They didn't teach you anything at Embry-Riddle. It's don't hit the autopilot. Go on. I interrupted again. I'm terrible this morning.
Well, TJ, after that,
yes,
the plane descended into the swamp.
The Everglades.
And then,
the Everglades.
That was awful. Okay,
oh my God.
Because I didn't
humid.
Like something like that.
I mean, forget the crash. The humidity. Go on.
And then coincidentally, my father's relative, his cousin Robert Marquis, was there in the swamp, and he helped rescue many of the passengers that were in that combustible, plane fuel environment there. Awful.
Wow. So it was only plain fuel. So it wasn't fuel with additives in it. It was just plain fuel, and that's all it took. Did it just float on the water in the Everglades? And did the swamp gas make a difference?
No, it was a combination of plain fuel with swamp gangrene combined.
Oh, Jesus. How did you survive? And I know that you survived at least 2 other plane crashes since then. But how did you forget the crash? How did you survive the swamp? Was it your uncle who in fact saved you from the swamp?
No, it was an aviation expert that was on the plane that helped my mother and myself swim to shore.
I miss my coffee. Unbelievable. E. Frank, dude, listen, man, more power to you. And, keep calling back with these unbelievable stories of survival and this unique perspective on life that you have. It's always refreshing and helpful to people like me suffering with a throat ailment. Thank you, E. Frank. 1-800-848. Yes, for the first time I ever actually really did that. I'm sorry. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. A couple more structured conversations to be had this morning for sure, on this, Saturday morning, the 27th of December, and broadcasting live from Liverpool in the United Kingdom, TJ, here on the Red Apple Audio Networks. And we've got to take another break, and our quarter of the hour ceremonial break. And I am going to go goggle. I've got to find some aloe vera here in the lush tropical Merseyside, United Kingdom. And we'll be back, and we'll keep talking, and we'll keep doing this on Another Side of Midnight here on the Red Apple Audio Networks. I'm TJ McCormack, 1-800-848-9222. Stay right there.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
right. Good morning there, gang. Hello. Excuse me as I cleared the throat. 1-800-848-9222. It is the another side of midnight. Sun is finally coming up. It's 10-8 here in Liverpool in the UK, and looking out the bay window of my my in-laws' front room, as they call it, the front room, here in the living room. Looking out the bay window, the sun is finally coming up just a bit. And so that's it. You know what else? You know what else they do right here? This is interesting. They have everything buried. There are no wires. There's no telephone poles. There's a few here and there that you just you have to look for them, and they sort of serve a purpose to transition power from maybe some sort of a transmission thing down, and it goes safely down into the ground through the pole. But you don't see pole to pole to pole wires. Everything's buried. And because they did it that way from the beginning. No telephone, but it makes it just, when you actually see it this way, it makes the vista so much nicer and less cluttered, and like a skyline is a skyline, a horizon's a horizon. It's not, Anyway, that's just a little tidbit from here. They have everything buried. Something that they estimate in New York State. I know this from my time working in the New York State Senate. It's something like $1 million a mile. Or I would have to now it must be $2.5 million a mile to bury cables. That's what it would be. Probably $2.5 million for a mile. And that, really thinking about it, a mile. Probably per block. Wherever you live, Long Island, Westchester, Los Angeles, Vegas, Chicago, if those wires aren't buried in the first place, it's probably impossible to get it done efficiently. Anyway, 1-800-848-9222. And let's go to, I believe Kenny is waiting there. Kenny, good morning. Kenny, are you there, sir?
Yes. Hello, TJ.
Hi, good morning.
It's snowing here in New York City.
Yes, I meant to mention that. Thank you for reminding me. I'm so sorry. I'm remiss. I wanted to mention that I was going to talk about that in the next hour. Go ahead, Kenny. Yes, it's snowing.
I know it's a bit foggy where you are, but people act like they've never seen snow before. Just amazing.
Isn't that funny? New Yorkers who are brave and bravado, and I'm walking here. All these things that when it starts to snow, oh boy, it's right. It's a disaster. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I went to the supermarket for some eggs, and the guy said the hen or the rooster, I don't know which one lays the eggs, but they left too. I mean, come on. And I did notice something in your voice. It sounds like you're taking hormone shots. Your voice really changing there.
Yes.
I just know when I have a sore throat, and the more I talk to it, just the worse it gets. That's just the way. It doesn't work in reverse, No. And it just, you obviously got to be careful with your voice. You make your living with your voice.
Yes.
You should go for voice lessons, Me. You should go for really, seriously, to protect your voice. So you don't, but it's just that there's a lot of people getting sick in the New York City tri-state area. They're coming down with the flu and everything. And
everyone here is sick. Everyone in the UK. I'm actually surprised that all I've got is like a throat ailment and not a full blown. Knock wood. Thank you, God. My daughters, so far, nobody's sick. My wife, nobody in this house is. But the UK is on fire with flu. And it's a flu that the flu shot doesn't prevent. So and we kind of left that behind in New York. You're right, Kenny. Everybody is getting sick right now. And Kevin back at WABC can attest to that. Everybody's sick. And for me too, by the way, you're right. Resting the voice is a thing. is the way to go. And I'm here on holiday visiting family, so I got it. I'm doing my very best to not talk during the day, but I'm catching up with people I haven't seen in a year. So, yeah, I'm kind of in a bit of a situation. I'm kind of jammed up, as it were. Kenny, I got to jump. I want to make sure that
one more thing, TJ.
Go ahead, buddy.
You just said something interesting. The flu shot doesn't help the flu that everybody's getting. I think when the doctor makes that announcement, he should be wearing Groucho glasses. Ha, cha, 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 cha.
Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, buddy. Kenny combining his imitation of Groucho Marx and Jimmy Durante. Let's jump quickly to Eduardo. Eduardo in Tampa. Good morning. In sunny Tampa. Is it sunny yet? No, it's dark.
No, but it's 3:00 in the morning here.
Yeah. So what the hell am I talking about?
Up to 80 degrees.
Nice. That's Eduardo giving a long distance finger to everybody under 8 inches of snow in New York right now.
Right. Well, I'm formerly from Chicago, and you know what happened over there, because they got the same whatever you guys get, because it comes from over there.
100%.
Yeah. And then California's got the
floods,
the heavy rain, so it's both coasts are getting hit. Yeah. Speaking of Chicago, my younger brother's here from, he's going to be here a couple of months, so lucky him. He doesn't have to deal with the cold.
Nice.
Yeah. But I had a sore throat, too, or throat discomfort, to put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't go to the doctor. I had a flu shot. I took that Robitussin with honey. But I toughed it out, and now I feel better. I think it lasted like a week and a half.
Really? And so you just toughed it out. So you didn't really, you didn't go crazy with like home remedies and stuff like that. You just had some Robitussin.
Water. I always have soup. Even in hot weather, I have soup with my dinner.
That's it. That's interesting. That's a bit of a ritual for you. You, when you have dinner, you'll always have some soup. Do you believe that helps you with
soup? Yeah, it's,
is it a habit? Did you grow up with that?
Chicago and even here too. Yeah, I just got to have a soup.
What's your favorite soup?
Oh, well, just the chicken rice.
You like chicken rice?
Chicken rice is my favorite one. Yeah.
Eduardo, I gotta say, that's it. You know what? It's funny. The way I think doing this show, right there, when you said that, I immediately thought, that'd be a fascinating conversation. And of course, I'm the only one who would think so. But I got to jump here. Listen, Eduardo, thank you, pal. Thank you, everybody, for calling in, making the first hour better. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the weather and a few other things cooking around the country, and a little bit of politics here on Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack on the Red Apple Audio Network.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
right. Good morning there, gang. Hello. It is another side of midnight with TJ McCormack on the Red Apple Audio Networks. And, as I'm here, you hear me kind of coming like 3D right there. It's because I'm adjusting my seat because nothing is normal. I'm broadcasting from a living room. If you're just joining, where have you been? First of all, Kevin's here. I'm here. And we're sitting here tapping our toes waiting for you. Thank you for finally showing up. We meet every Saturday and Sunday morning, 2 a.m. Eastern. It's now 3 a.m. Eastern, and we're wondering exactly what kept you. So, you know what? No explanation at this point. Just sit down, get your stuff, gather your notes, and please pay attention. Kevin and I have been here. I'm in the UK, damn it. And Kevin is in New York running the board, running the building. He's doing all the heating in the building. He just came in from shoveling, and he's got to make the coffee. You know, for who? For no one. For him. So thank you for finally joining us here on the Red Apple Audio Networks, 1-800-848-9222. Just take your seat, please. If you're here if you're in New York, the metropolitan area, the Northeast, please shake off the snow before you come in. God, take off your stuff and let it dry over there, not here, over there. Thank you. If you're in Florida with Eduardo, giving the finger to everyone back in New York and Chicago, well then enjoy your fun, but please be, at least, don't rub it in too much. And, if you're in some other part of the country digging out or wringing out your clothes, I am sorry. It does suck. Everything going on in England. In California, the flooding. I'm kind of catching up on that. It's different show prep that I do when I'm here. Well, I've never done it before. I did one show. But it's different doing show prep. Normally, when I'm in New York, when I'm in the Bernard McGurk studios at 77 WABC, the flagship of the still can't believe I'm here, by the way. Still kind of nuts about that. I know you're supposed to act as if. I know you're supposed to act like you belong there. Wherever you are, that's how you sell it. And there are definitely, without a doubt, moments that just are inescapable where I look around and I go, I can't believe I'm at 77 WABC and on the Red Apple Audio Networks and syndicated around the country. And you've got to be kidding me. It's so in that regard, thank you, God. But anyway, when I'm there and not here with family, I'm surrounded by the last 3 days of the New York Post. There's TV monitors all over the place in the station, and and so catching out of the corner of my eye, I can see the words breaking news, and so when something comes up, it'll pop up. I listen to Rita Cosby and Dr. Sky and all the shows on before me, and so they and let alone just during the day doing the usual do and being if not on TV talking about the news, I'm reading the paper. Watch here, it's a whole different kind of show prep because around my feet, I've got like 3 British newspapers from yesterday with about maybe a page and a half of usable news for this program. So the rest of it is like on a phone and a tablet trying to scour the newspapers, the news, for, to be up to date, as up to date as I can be for you guys. And, 1-800-848-9222, by the way. And, so it's a whole different kind of thing. And, in this, process of prepping for the show, I was definitely kind of scooting around and taking a look and trying to be somewhat up to date. And so first of all, I'd love to know if anybody can tell me, because I haven't been completely tuned in to these attacks in Nigeria. on ISIS. And I mean, I'm tuned in. I know what happened. I know when it happened. And I know also that President Trump called 77 WABC New York and our leader, John Catsimatidis, live on the air to talk about the attacks, which is, again, just you cannot be in a better place to be informed than where you are right now on the radio, gang. But anyway, the left seems to be potentially in yet another very embarrassing position because every single thing that Donald Trump does or says or thinks or breathes or implies is horrific and stupid and wrong and awful and misguided and un-American and unpatriotic and undemocratic and fascist and Nazi-ish. Are the Democrats in America teetering on being in a position to criticizing an attack on ISIS? And if they don't celebrate an attack on ISIS, are they wrong? In other words, and now first of all, okay, I've definitely seen a bunch of threads on Twitter where we're fact checking Trump's statements on the Christian genocide, in quotes. You see Christian genocide in quotes, in Nigeria. And you just get the sense that the left and the left's best buddies in the media, that the Democrats' pals in the mainstream media are actually circling the wagons, if not to defend ISIS, certainly to attacks on ISIS. I mean, if we're getting to the point where going after ISIS, going after Islamic radical terrorists, Boko Haram and all of them who are so prominent in Africa, at what point do we call the Democrats completely morally depraved? I mean, I think they are anyway, but I don't know. Again, to recap, Democrats in the last 2 years have been firmly on the side of men and women's sports. They've been firmly on the side of anti-Semites and anti-Semitism. They've been firmly on the side of Hamas. They've been firmly on the side of an evil regime in Iran who support Hamas and support Hezbollah. They've been firmly on the side of not only the men and women's sports, but biological males in women's and girls' safe spaces. They've been on the side of and rooting for and championing not just illegal migrants. That's child's play. Just defending illegal. That's one thing. But they've been firmly rooting for and chanting the names of and genuflecting at the altar of human traffickers and wife beaters like Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man with 3 names, the Maryland man, the Maryland father. This guy who now, by the way, it seems a judge, yet another leftist judge, another Democrat judge. Watch, it's probably a judge that was appointed by Trump. Watch me, Mr. Big Mouth, right? Watch. But anyway, some other activist, we'll just say it that way, some other activist judge is now contemplating, if I'm reading it correctly, is now actively contemplating whether or not pursuing human trafficking charges against Kilmar Abrego Garcia. If that pursuit of those charges is not harassment, is not politically motivated or something like that, or the right thing to do, to put simply. Can you imagine the guy? We have video. There's live video of this guy's wife explaining in very simple terms how he would beat her up and then come back and beat her up some more. We have language from his beaten wife about how and when he would beat her. We also have video. There's video. There's body cam video of Kilmer Abrego Garcia. We have him in a car in Missouri, right? Was he in St. Louis? I think it was Missouri state troopers that had him pulled over with a car full, literally a car full. It's like the old joke when, some pickpocket is caught, and they tell him to take off his coat and a bunch of wallets and watches fall out. It's like some old slapstick gag. He's literally in an SUV full of Hispanic people who don't speak a lick of English, staring at each other as the cops ask them questions. And there's some old lady in the front he basically says, "This is my mom." And the two cops, they go over, the body cam footage, goes on, and the two cops have a side conversation, and one cop says to the other, because you know what's going on here, right? He's trafficking these people. You know that, right? I said, just so you know what we're dealing with, that clearly this guy is, we see what's happening, right? And the cop's like, yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, no, he's trafficking these people. And I think they gave him an appearance ticket for a busted lamp or something like that. I don't know. But, for Democrats to be on the side of dudes in women's locker rooms and human trafficking wife beaters, that seems like exactly the perfect warm-up. The perfect years-long warm-up to be in a position to condemn hits on one of the golden oldies of the era of Islamic terrorism, ISIS. 1-800-848-9222. When we come back, we'll get to, we got 1-2 treat. We got Fran and Nate and Fitzy. Oh, we got to talk to Fitzy. I love that name. All right, so we've got Fran and Nate and Fitzy waiting to go, and your calls 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. We're going to talk about this. Want to talk about the weather too. If you're snowed in, if you want to just tell me what it looks like out there, in your backyard, what's cooking right now? For people in the metropolitan area, I know I've seen some absolute ridiculous videos of up where I live in Westchester. I understand the city's getting it. I know Long Island is getting pounded. Are you in Chicago? Did you get like what Eduardo was describing, what his brother normally deals with, what he used to deal with in Chicago? I've been in Chicago in the winter. It is another kind of cold in Chicago in the winter. I remember when I was still a smoker, changing flights in O'Hare. That was when I really felt like the addict that I was, by the way. If ever there was a moment in my life where I stood there and went, I have got a real problem, was when, in between flights, I was, probably going in the early stages of coming here to England. I remember I used to fly from LA to Chicago to Manchester in the UK to come here to Liverpool. And I remember one time switching planes and going and leaving security area. This is post 9/11. Leaving the security area, going outside to like the taxi pickup area in order to have like a cigarette and a half. And it had to be -12 with a steady Chicago wind just blowing through the terminals. and the outside driveways, and standing there not able to feel any extremity. My eyelashes were shattering with every blink. And I remember standing there and like, as I inhaled the smoke, I was like, I felt my lungs freezing from the inside out. And I almost passed out because as I exhaled, I didn't know where the smoke ended and my own exhale breath fog began. And it got to the point where I was exhaling to being so completely evacuated of any air in my body that my knees were buckling. But the only thing that kept me up was the fact that I was frozen. I was frozen like Elsa. I was frozen like a snowman. Happy birthday. All right, gang. I was just trying to get to a point where I could do my Frosty impersonation. All right, gang. It is 21 minutes past the hour. Going to take our very, very quick break here. When we come back, Fran, Nate, and Fitzy, which sounds like the perfect crew of people waiting for you as you enter a warm, cozy Irish bar somewhere in the New York area or Chicago on a cold, snowy night. That door opens, that rush of hot, formerly smoky air hits you. You see the glow of the bar, the chatter, and there's the usuals. There's Fran. Oh, there's Fran working the bar. There's Nate playing pinball, and Fitzy is talking sports. I love it. That's the scenario. We're going to come back and talk to our bar crew right here with the early morning family on another side of midnight with me, TJ McCormack, on the Red Apple Audio Networks. Be right back.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Yes. We are actually in the George and Irene Murphy studios here in Liverpool, the United Kingdom, the nation, the United Kingdom of England. What is it? England, Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Yeah, boy, did I chop that up. Hi, yeah, I'm in the UK. It's me, TJ, talking to you from my in-laws' living room, and it's magnificent doing a show like this. It's great. The sun is finally up. It took until like 8:15 a.m. for the sky to begin to kind of brighten, and now the sun is up. And I'll tell you what, not a lick of rain the entire time I've been here. This has been some great weather. But my throat's been in fuego. So, now listen, if you're out there in Massachusetts, call back. Yeah, I understand that you grew weary of waiting on hold. So, I gave the nice big setup to walking into the bar for Fran, Nate, and Fitzy. So Fitzy, if you're listening, you're still there. Call back 1-800-848-9222. We're talking about a bunch of stuff. Talking a little bit of politics now. Also the fact that, there are some states, New York included, that are not going to be extending the Trump big beautiful law now, the tax reforms that include no tax on tips. There are states in the U.S. that are not going to be extending that in their New York state in their state taxes, like New York. New York is one of those states that is not right now, although Hochul is catching an earful. But then again, what the hell does she care? Because she's going to likely be reelected regardless of what she does or doesn't do, regardless of how hard she hits. Truly hardworking. Every time you hear a dopey Democrat like Hochul, like Newsom, like J.D. Pritzker, like any of these, anytime you hear the hardworking Americans, you know what? They give hardworking Americans the finger every single damn opportunity that they can. They do not care about hardworking anybody. They don't care. Period. Forget the comma. They don't care, ... They don't care. And they don't have to care because dopey states like mine, like New York and California and Illinois and Massachusetts and Connecticut will continue to elect and re-elect dopey, careless, cruel, sick, narcissistic Democrats like Kathy Hochul, who refuse to give, you talk about hardworking, somebody who's earning tips, who relies on tips, by definition, by virtue of that alone, tells you that you have to be hardworking to be a person who earns tips. So lawyers don't work on tips. Yes, they work hard, but in a whole different way than a barback, than a bartender, than a server, a waiter, a waitress. These people, a cab driver. These truly hardworking, backbreaking, or broken back laborers, these people, and almost all of them are supporting something or someone. That's why they're doing it. And that's why they're working hard. When a waitress puts down a massive tray of empties and then proceeds to turn them upside down and put them into the washer, she's doing that. You know why she takes that deep breath to pick up the empty tray and go back out there? The deep breath that she takes is that I need these tips. I need this gig. Gotta feed my baby. Gotta keep the heat on. Gotta pay the rent. That is why the cab driver, when that radio call comes in and he's done with his shift, that's why that cab driver takes a deep breath, rubs his eyes, takes one last sip of the now cold coffee, and takes that last call to go to JFK at the end of the shift, knowing full well he's going to be losing 2.5 hours of sleep. He puts that car in drive to go make the pickup to go to JFK during rush hour because there is something or someone that depends on him losing those 2.5 hours of sleep. And for Kathy Hochul to not extend the tax break, to continue to take out of the pockets of actual hardworking people, actual, literal, hard-working, laborious individuals, to continue to pick their pocket and take money that they had earned is vile. It is treacherous. It is sick. It is demented. It is an addiction in and of itself to other people's money, to poor people's money. Kathy Hochul and every Democrat in New York and Chicago, and Illinois and Massachusetts and Connecticut and California are addicted to poor people's money. It's a sickness. And it's just as much a sickness, all those people that elect them and re-elect them constantly. Fran in Massapequa, you still there? I'm talking like a guy with a good throat. Imagine if my throat was in good shape. God, I talk too much. Good morning, Fran.
Hey, what's up, pal?
Hey. What's up?
How many miles away are you?
I am about 3,000 and change, I think.
All right, so 2 days of driving, 2.5 days of driving. Not bad. I know you can't drive there. I'm just saying. California's about, just to give people an idea, California's about 3,000 miles, 3,500.
Yep, you nailed it. Exactly. It's exactly what it is.
The last name, McCormack or McCormack?
McCormack, A-C-K, McCormack.
Is there like a difference? Like is one Irish, one,
you know what?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the ick is more Scotch in the Scotch Irish, and 1-800-848-9222 if somebody knows better than I. And I think the McCormack, or rather, I'm sorry, the McCormick, yes, I think the McCormick is maybe more Scotch Irish, and the ack is more Irish.
I might open up a can of worms. You're going to
Holy
get
God.
all night.
You're doomed. That's fine, though. That's fine. The more of them, the less of me, the better. Go ahead.
Yep, the soup. The soup is fascinating.
Right?
I agree with the guy with the soup.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
I think so.
I wish a couple more questions. Does he make his own soup? Does he have like 50 of them in the does he go to, what's a big store?
Does he go to like Uncle Giuseppe's and get the
BJ's and buy like friggin' 300 of them for like $20?
Oh, like that. Or does he go to like the big box store and get like a pallet of soups?
Maybe he'll call back. Maybe he's an all-nighter.
Maybe Eduardo can tell us, is there ever room for a powdered soup? What does he do in a pinch?
Hold on. Now, I'm not trying to be racist, but his name was Eduardo?
Yes.
So they, the foreign people, I don't know what he is. I assume he's European or whatever. Yeah. But I'm sure they love to cook. He definitely is making his own soup, I'm sure.
I believe Eduardo from Chicago is making, I believe in a pinch, he makes his own soup.
He's from Chicago. Yeah, you know what, who knows? But it was fascinating. You said you were the only one who thought it was fascinating. You're wrong. I'm number 2. Because I want to know, I want to know. I die to know if he's making his own soup.
Because here's my thing with soup. First of all, soup is a boring word. Soup is a word that is exactly what it is. It's soup. It's wet. It's liquid. It's in a bowl or a cup. And by the way, I do love that. In a diner, that's the only place in the planet where you say, I'll have the soup, and they right away say bowl or cup. Yep. Right?
Yeah,
okay.
No, you're right.
There's not one standard serving, but I'm very bored by soup. When my wife says, we'll have soup, I go, soup? What is soup? Soup, is it for dinner soup? Stew?
No,
is stew a soup? Is stew a soup?
The only thing you have is that my mother would have soup with grilled cheese or something like that.
Now that's a meal, but as I'm asking you, Fran,
the chicken and rice, real quick. I'm out driving. I love driving in the snow. So I fell asleep, woke up. I break my friggin' windshield wiper. We have a 24-hour auto parts store. Don't ask me how or why. Maybe they're selling drugs. But the guy, I go in to get one wiper. The guy goes, oh, yeah, 25. I go, 25? At Walmart, there's $7. So I wound up getting one for $9. Worked great.
Yeah.
All right. Then I go to get gas, and the guy's mopping up. He tells me he's closed. I walk away. He tells me come back. I get gas. It's dangerous out. When the roads are covered, why? I have 4-wheel drive. So I'm all right. Why do people with cars drive? I just saw a guy. Right. He took the exit. Now, when you take the exit, there's a guardrail that starts. It starts at the bottom and goes up.
Exactly.
This guy went right up. It's like a slide. He's 3/4, on the, and then there's another guy. On Sunrise Highway, I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Sure, Sunrise, huh?
He's facing the wrong way up against the guardrail, car destroyed. Why did he? Yes, and I feel terrible, but you either got to drive 2 miles an hour if you somehow get stuck in it, or just there's really nothing you can do. If you have a car, the roads are covered right now.
Are they? I was going to ask you, just paint a picture for me. So the plows are not out yet. This is one of those times when they're waiting for it to finish?
It looks like a snow globe.
Okay.
No, what happens is they hit the plow right away.
Right.
But it was sticking because when it's cold, that's when it's dangerous. It sticks.
Yeah.
So it was sticking right away. So you got 2 inches gone, then, 2 more inches gone. So you're in that inch, it's about 2.5 inches on the street in the neighborhood I live in.
Right.
The main roads, there's always one lane on a 3-lane road where they all drive. So, but if you have a car, you cannot drive right now. It's very bad.
And remember back in the day, it's amazing that our parents, that we ever got around in the front wheel drive Chevy Impala,
They're actually safer. I think a front wheel drive is safer in the snow. Oh, Lord, you get less stuck. We used to skitch. Yeah. We used to wait for people at a stop sign. We would get down crouch down, grab the car, the bumper, and skitch. It was the craziest, funnest thing in the world. The kids today, if you mentioned it, they don't even know what the word skitch means.
Skitch. That's fantastic. I love it.
Oh, forget it. We did things. We used to play football, tackle football in the snow street.
Yep. Yeah, man, because what else are you going to do in the snow?
Well, they sit on their computer. A kid today, I don't think they go out. They'll wind up with 9. They have to take 9 more pills.
Yeah, I hear
it's
that.
It's terrible.
Brother. I know.
I hate the way we're headed. Listen, I love America. Yeah. I love everybody, but I just hate the way they hate. I hate the hate on the other side. Why are they hate so bad?
I know, man.
You know what I mean? What is it? I mean, now listen, I know we had a civil war in this country. Is that what it came down to, where it was just so much hate, where you had to fight the other side? What brings you to that?
Yeah.
Because I'm scared, and I'm a tough guy. I'll fight any liberal around, and they know it. They're all little wimps, but I'm scared. Yeah. These people are dangerous, and the biggest thing with me, sir, and I'll leave you. I love the show. Great job. Why do they wear masks?
Yep. Yeah. Well.
Cowards? Why are you wearing an effing mask and you don't want ICE to wear it?
Right.
If the left is so, you said it, it's unbelievably scary and dangerous.
Yep.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Fran, drive safe out there. Fran out there. Be careful out there in the snow there, brother. 1-800-848-9222. Yeah, he ain't wrong. And, Fran is 1,000% right. They are hypocrites. They are narcissists. I think if we have ever seen that truth, that what conservatives love to say, liberalism is a mental disorder. I think we've actually seen in real time, the last several years especially, exactly just how much of a mental disorder liberalism and leftism is. Look at what we've got. They also, and by the way, when they support this trans movement, and now we've seen a very, very ugly scenario of this trans terrorism, which, it's a thing now. It's a thing. Trans terrorism is a thing. Ask the families of those beautiful Catholic babies who were murdered in a church by a trans activist. Ask Charlie Kirk's family, who, dollars to donuts, we're going to find out his assassin had some sort of trans motivation there. He's out of his flipping mind, that kid. And apparently had a trans girl boyfriend at home. That might have been like a, honey, watch me, I'm doing this for you kind of thing. And the Nashville Christian school shooter, trans. That's child abuse. The sickness. And then you have the simple, oldest disorder about the left. This addiction to other people's money. Hardworking, poor, medium poor, working class, lower class, whatever you want to. Certainly the middle class, just being destroyed. There's Kathy Hochul. Not going to give any relief. At some point this morning, I'll find the article that I was working off of from the New York Post that was documenting the Hochul decision to not honor the Trump no tax on tips. 1-800-848-9222. We'll definitely cover that a little bit. And also, don't forget in the next and final hour, as we do every Saturday morning, we're always open for any calls about anything, ever. On topic, off topic. We're happy to, I love, that's what I love about the early morning crew here. And to everybody over on X, on Twitter, good morning, good morning, good morning. I love that portion of the family over there. They always sit on that couch over there. That's where they are. They're over there on that couch. They're in the den. It's kind of like in a family party. You got the main room, you got the living room and the kitchen, the Christmas party, the kind, Thanksgiving, where all of them. And then you've got that one crew that fills the couple of love seats and a few chairs in the den, over there by the fireplace, over there on the screened-in porch. That's how I imagine. That's how I picture our crew over on X. I don't know if they've ever called. I think Patty called once. Pretty sure that Patty from Mamaroneck called one time. Might have been twice when she was on her assignment from us to document and video and infiltrate the protesters every weekend in her neighborhood. But aside from those one or two times that Patty might have called, the rest of the crew, Marianne and Catherine and Florida at the races and the other bunch there on X/Twitter, they're in their own universe over there. And I think I just now, that little scenario that I created, I love that. That's perfect. We're all here mingling. We're all here in the main room, in the kitchen. We're all, watching them carve the turkey and pour the drinks and stuff. And then over there around the corner, there's a bunch of people watching college football in the den, the screened-in porch, the sunroom, the finished basement. That's the X crew. That's the Twitter bunch. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to, let's see who's here. Nate, let's go to Nate in the Bronx. Good morning, Nate. Oh, Nate dropped. Look at me and my throat talking too much, and I'm losing Nate. Then, you know what? Let's take our break. When we come back, we'll talk to Pamela and Mark and whomever else. And Fitzy, call back, Fitzy, damn it. And Nate, you too. Let's definitely hear back from you guys. And as I started to say, in the next hour, we're always opening our phones on a Saturday morning in the 4 a.m. hour to talk about recovery. If you, your friends, your loved ones, especially this time of year, coming out of Christmas, going into the new year, this is tough times. This is definitely an obstacle course for not only active addicts, but almost especially recovering addicts. So if there's an alcoholic in your life, if it happens to be you, a drug addict, a gambling addict, somebody, a sex addict, a retail addict, somebody who just spends money for no particular weird reason, but to feel better, is a tough time of year for people who to either stay sober, let alone get sober. So always happy to have that conversation here on Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack on the Red Apple Audio Networks. We'll be right back.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
It's me, TJ McCormack. Yes, McCormack. Great question earlier. Yes, I believe the ack is more Irish and the ick is more Scotch Irish. And I was certainly a Scotch Irish dude, an Irish who digs Scotch way too much for way too long, but 20 and a half years now. Let's see, 1-800-848-9222. Good morning. And let's get to Pamela in New Jersey. Love talking to Pamela. Hello from all the way over here. I don't know if you can see me. I'm waving. Hi, Pamela.
I'm waving back.
Oh, lovely.
And for your throat, oil of oregano, if they have essential oil shops there, oil of oregano.
Oil of oregano. And what do I, and I'm not being funny, but I'm just wondering now, is that something, do I ingest it or do I rub it on the outside and it absorbs? I'm sorry if that's a stupid question.
You have to look for the type that you can ingest.
Okay.
You can consume. Because I'm sure there's the other variations, but it comes in an eyedropper bottle. a dark bottle, usually for preservation, in an essential oil shop or some kind of store that sells essential oil. And you can, it depends on the strength, and you put it on your tongue, and I take it with water. And it's quite strong, so you don't want to overdo it.
Right.
Try a couple drops at first.
Uh-huh.
And it kills, the bad germs in your system.
Mm-hmm.
And also, most sore throats are caused by nasal congestion, an infection up there in the nasal area. So you might want to use, if you don't have a prescription nasal spray, which most of them are pretty light, however. But they do sell, I don't know about Great Britain, but here they sell just plain water with saline in it, salt, basically.
Right.
And you can just use that on your own. And it just clears out the system and the nasal passages, because most sore throats are caused by, post-nasal drip.
Upper respiratory. Okay, cool. All right. Excellent. Thank you. And,
you're welcome.
And so what else is on your mind?
Last weekend you talked about a fireplace, of course. Now, most of the older homes in England had fireplaces, whereas here in the States, you have to have a wealthier house to have a fireplace. And fireplaces aren't very efficient, because hot air rises and fireplaces suck out the hot air in your house. So they're mostly for show.
Right.
And of course, in the old days, they were a matter of life and death. And in the old days, especially in Liverpool, the home of the Industrial Revolution there, they used coal.
Yes.
And I remember when I was a kid, we moved from a 1950s house, and then we bought my grandparents' house, which was almost, not 100 years old, but getting there. And I remember as a kid going in the basement and saying, "Dad, why is there a horse corral in the basement?" He goes, "No, that's not a horse corral. That's a coal chute."
Wow.
And most of our houses are in New Jersey. The older houses in New York have a little opening. Most people don't even realize what it is. And it used to be where the coal man came and poured the coal down the basement.
Love it.
For your coal stove. And but I was wondering what do most of them use today? Probably maybe oil. In Liverpool?
This is gas. So this is this development, or as they call it, the close. This neighborhood was built in the late 80s, late 90s, in the late 90s. This development. However, I have been, and so this is gas. It's a gas fireplace. These are the most efficient gas heaters. Flames come, it clicks on, and it's not like we have in the States. A lot, if you have a gas fireplace, it's for show. This is a glass enclosed thing where these gas flames come firing up, and it's intense. It heats up the entire first floor within about 20 minutes, this glass enclosed gas flame. And it's very pretty looking. It looks like a coal fire. But I've been in old houses. Well, here's the thing. The UK, especially up north, the references to the old days are very tangible and very viable and very real. They're only separated by about a generation and a half from World War II, people who experienced World War II, people who knew people who experienced World War I. When I go for a run every morning, and this visit has not been like that because of my throat, but when I'm here, I always run, and and every park and every neighborhood, almost every other intersection has some war memorial, has some sort. Here there's a wonderful statue to a guy who served in World War I. You see more World War I references around the UK than anywhere that I would imagine. France has a ton of them as well. But anyway, here I've been in, my wife remembers, my wife who is 53, she remembers using an outside bathroom. She remembers being at her aunt's house in Speke, which is a very rough and tumble neighborhood closer to the water, where they had an outside bathroom. As late as the 70s into the 80s, there were outdoor bathrooms. Not so much an outhouse, but there was plumbing out there, but it was outside. My mother-in-law, last night, there was a bunch of people talking about sharing baths and bath water on a Saturday night. So that is still part of the reachable culture here, let alone coal fires. But coal fires and peat fires in Ireland, I think, Pamela, those are as recent as, 30, 40 years ago.
Interesting.
It really
yeah,
is.
I'm fascinated by heating and physics and everything. I'm a mechanic's daughter, so I wonder how, it's done. And yeah, my brother-in-law put in a gas heater for heat in his, he had one of those, what do they call them, bi-story houses.
Oh, right.
And I know what you're talking about. They shoot out, and they're a different thing altogether. But the old-fashioned fireplaces with the wood, a lot of times, unless it's like in a iron,
Well, we have one in our house at home in Westchester, a regular fireplace. And yes, it's kind of a push. It's a 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It's mainly for show. It's mainly to make me feel good in the winter. And it's nice ambiance and stuff. There's a certain amount of warmth, but I do definitely imagine that it's just sucking all the hot, expensive air out of my home. But you can put now, and they're expensive, but there's these heat reflectors that you can buy. They're cast iron. They cost like $500 or $600. They're kind of pricey, but you can put them right behind your hearth or in your hearth behind the fire, and it will reflect out that heat. I think it's one way to turn an ornamental fireplace, wood fireplace, into an actual heater.
Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. And I was reading about the River Mersey, which reminds me of the Passaic River that runs through, most of central Jersey. And they were working on cleaning it up because it is so toxic. I guess you don't go fishing in the River Mersey.
No, you don't go fishing in the River Mersey. No, and the Mersey, there's a place around here in, you can look up Hale, H-A-L-E, Hale Village. On the way to Hale Village is, what they call the Dirty Mile. And it's a nuclear plant over there. The British are very good at compartmentalizing and keeping the dirty areas dirty and trying to polish up the clean areas. In fact, where I am, we're right near, well, not where I am, but where I'm near, the train station that I would use to access to get into Liverpool proper is a town called Widnes. And so I go to the Widnes train station, W-I-D-N-E-S. And recently there's been some controversy about this, but for the longest time, the Widnes, W-I-D-N-E-S, the Widnes train station, and there's still a plaque there as of a couple days ago. The Widnes train station is the train station, Pamela, that Paul Simon wrote about when he said, I'm sitting in a railway station, got a ticket from my destination. He was here in the UK, either with Garfunkel on some sort of a tour or here, whatever, but he was sitting at a local small, and they do have some beautiful, quaint suburban train stations around here. But the Widnes train station, a stone's throw from where I am, is apparently the train station, and I'm sitting in a railway station, got a ticket for my destination. That's Widnes, UK. So there you go. Yeah. And here in Widnes, here in the north of England, I believe the first commercial rail service for passengers, I believe, was between Liverpool and Manchester. You mentioned right at the top of the call that this is like the industrial powerhouse. This is the birth of the industrial. Let me tell you, man, people, when you come to England and you go to London, as you always do, take a 2-hour train ride north and come to Liverpool and see the entire Beatles thing and see a really cool maritime industrial city that is a cultural machine. It's amazing. This is a very underrated city. More people need to visit Liverpool. And there you go.
I was wondering also if you got a chance and they're willing, if some of your in-laws from the area would do an interview with you, speak about the, life.
Sure. I will just have to wake them up. I'll see if my father-in-law comes down for his tea. Pamela, I will absolutely do my level best to do that. All right. Love you guys. Love you, Pamela. Thank you. Happy New Year. We'll be back for the final hour of Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack on the Red Apple Audio Networks from Liverpool in the United Kingdom.
It's Another Side of Midnight. 77 WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Oop, I don't have a cough button. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Good morning, gang. It's me, TJ, talking to you, calling from. This is London calling from Liverpool in the United Kingdom, here on Another Side of Midnight in the final hour, the 4 a.m. hour on the East Coast, the 1 a.m. hour on the West Coast, and here in the United Kingdom, it's 9 a.m. on what looks like is going to be a sunny day here in the north of England, and, what looks like a lousy dig out day at some point in New York and in California. The rains just kept coming, and so we've got really bad weather on both coasts. It's lousy, and we can definitely take your calls on that as well. In New York especially, we heard from Fran driving around in Massapequa, loving the I get the idea of liking of digging, being out there in the snow, no pun intended, digging the snow. But yeah, I get that. There is a certain kind of cool, sort of quiet. That's some of my most oddly fond memories of my days as a struggling artist, as a stand-up. When my last day job, my go-to day job when I was a kid doing stand-up at open mic nights and stuff before I made a penny telling jokes. I was a cab driver. I drove a taxi, and driving in the winter in the snow I did nights. There is that certain kind of quiet, and that when it's right and nobody else is out and it's just taxis and service vehicles, and not a bunch of idiots playing bumper cars and dopey morons that just have to go, if there's, when it's people who know what they're doing and got to get out there, then it can be a somewhat Zen experience. I bet you that's what I bet you that's what Fran was talking about. There's a certain, Zen to it all. And, a bit of a rhythm to the driving when it's snowing and you're skidding and you're feeling that shift of the weight and stuff. It's interesting how that can be somewhat, it's not therapeutic, calming. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, if you are out there right now, if you're in it, and you're out there in the snow, or you're surrounded by the snow, or your day is going to be impacted by the snow on the East Coast, give a call. I want to hear what's cooking in your corner of the world when it comes to the weather. Chicago just got smacked, and so they are in the process of digging out. So if you're in the Midwest, I'd be curious to hear what your story is. If you're out on the West Coast, that very sad stuff, going on with the flooding in California, that can be quite dire, we know. So I'd be curious to hear from you. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, if, you're right now in the process actively of getting smacked, give a call, 1-800-848-9222. I'm wondering how you're going to cope with the snow, and did you get all your supplies in? Did you get all your baked goods and your things to make happy comfort food things? I'm huge on that. I love getting ready for snow to come. I love doing that quick shop, get in, get the absolute comfort foods, and ride out the storm. There is something poetic about that as well. The Scandinavian term hygge. Who knows that one? Anybody want to jump in on hygge? H-Y-G-G-E? H-Y-G-G-E? If anybody wants to chime in on that, I'm all hygge. It's a Scandinavian cultural thing based on candles and cocoa and blankets and fireplaces. Yes. This is my time of year. I love when it gets dark early. I love when it gets light late. It's kind of why I do dig it here in the UK is like no daylight in the winter. I love it. I don't know why. I'm not a dark person. But it does kind of help me focus. I feel like I don't have to live up to anything. When it's a beautiful, bright, sunny day, I feel like right away I feel imposed upon. That's how much of an idiot lunatic I am. When it's bright and sunny, by the time I get up and the flipping birds are chirping, then I feel like I got to be a chirping bird. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like I have to live up to the surroundings. I feel like I have to be. If I hear that out the window, like that, then I feel like, oh, damn it, now I gotta be all like that. And that to me is a burden. And I don't need that placed upon me. You know what? I'm being completely honest. I'm not being like all, sketchy. I'm not like doing a bit here. I'm giving you a window into this obnoxious thing that I am. There are times in the summertime where I'll roll over and wake up and it's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. The only thing missing is boom, chick, boom, boom, chick, boom, boom. That's the only thing is the song. I'll wake up and already it's on its way to being a bright, sunshiny day. And I'll exhale. Go, oh, God. Bright, sunshiny day. Friggin' hell. Bright, sunshiny day. Great. Good. Because right away, if I just want to be me, I know that I'm crapping on somebody else's bright, sunshiny day. Or the more exhausting route is that I now have to up my misery game and be bright sunshiny to go along with the day so that I don't crap on other people's bright sunshiny day. And so I'm exhausted before I even get out of bed. And miserable and burdened and all these things. And then but all along I know it's my fault, so I'm double exhausted because I know that I am proactively being a jerk. That's why wintertime, when it's cold and cloudy and or dark or early dark or late dark, that right away, I go, boom, license. No, it doesn't mean that I double down and you can just close it. It doesn't mean that I double down and, say I'm going to add to the darkness. I don't look at it as a license to be dark, but I also don't see it as a necessity to be so damn bright and light and shiny and I don't have to. Never thought I was capable of that tangent. Holy God, is that a tangent? Anyway, 1-800-848-9222. How you doing in the weather? How are you doing in the weather? And do you dig the snow? Do you dig this kind of stuff hitting New York right now? And here's another question for New York, by the way. Knowing what's coming with Mamdani, knowing what's coming, knowing who he's appointing to different spots, as he, by the way, scrambles. Is this a bit of a foreshadowing of this upcoming 35-year-old first-time job mayor? Way to go, you flippin' idiots. You dopey morons who elected this guy. Way to go. This, already, we're seeing, a 35-year-old kid never had a real job. The one half job he had as an assemblyman, he showed up like a quarter of the time and didn't pass a flippin' bill. And you idiots elected him to be the mayor, the second toughest job in America. Way to go. Anyway, he's scrambling. He's scrambling to fill jobs. And I'm wondering now, you see, here we are, state of emergency, New York City, snow removal. We're all jumping ahead, myself included. We're all jumping ahead saying, oh my God, he's going to be in charge on the 25th anniversary of 9/11. What's that going to be like politically? You know what? This is rubber hits the road stuff. How is this guy going to navigate the city through a blizzard? How is this moron, this anti-Semitic racist moron, is he going to plow poor and minority neighborhoods before he plows white neighborhoods, just like he's going to tax white neighborhoods more than he's going to tax poor and minority? What's he going to do? And perhaps this is a can of worms to open up for the last hour. But this popped while I've been away. Mamdani's appointment of the first non-firefighter to be the fire commissioner, the FDNY commissioner in New York, which appears to be an identity politics type of appointment with the first LGBT, whatever, gives a damn. Who gives a damn? It's the first LGBT. Cares? The big thing here, in addition to her, is the fact that she's never been a firefighter. It's my understanding, based on reading material from here in the UK and trying to stay up with this story, that there's already quite a bit of pushback from firefighters about the appointment of albeit all my respect to every single paramedic, every single first responder. Clearly this is not a shot, but rather I'm trying to learn exactly how much of a concern this is for firefighters in particular. All right. Again, and I know firefighters love and respect their EMT comrades. I get it. I totally know that. And I'd be shocked to learn otherwise. But I'm just wondering, how much of an issue is that? How much of an issue is the fact that for firefighters, that the first FDNY commissioner who has never been a firefighter is now the commissioner of the FDNY? Is it just about being New York's bravest? Is it just about being brave? Is it about, look, I could be totally wrong. If this person is unbelievably organized and qualified, in terms of organization and, knowledge of the city and procedures, and if this is more of a bean counting, pencil pushing position, I'm talking completely out of my ears about this and not with any institutional knowledge, then so be it. You know, I plead ignorance, and I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about. But is it like really for firefighters, for you guys and women, for you women and men in the FDNY, is it more of a prerequisite for you that the FDNY commissioner has been a firefighter? Or is it enough? Is it enough to have been a multi-decade career EMT within the fire department? And then that combined with other innate skills and traits, if that is a perfect combination. For all I know, it's a perfect combination. And EMT is ideal. A career EMT, for all I know, is an ideal fire commissioner. So let me know. I'm curious about that. 1-800-848-9222. I'm going to take our first quick break of the hour. We come back. We'll talk to Sal and Nate. And, I don't know. No, Mark's not there. So we'll talk to Sal and Nate when we come back. 1-800-848-9222. Curious about this firefighter thing. Curious about this fire commissioner thing. And, if you're struggling this time of year, if you're having a hard time, if somebody you know, love, are dealing with some sort of addiction, booze, drugs, retail, sex addiction, whatever it is, we always talk about that sort of stuff this hour. So if you have any burning desire to talk about your own particular deal, trying to get sober, trying to stay well, or trying to get well, or stay well, you can always call in 1-800-848-9222 as Another Side of Midnight rolls in the final hour. We'll be right back.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
All right. Good morning, gang. Thank you to Kevin, who is holding down the fort on Absolute Radio Pro. This guy is he's a classic throwback radio dude, is this guy, Kevin, back at WABC 77 in New York City, the hub of the flagship of the Red Apple Audio Networks. And, holding down the fort, that's what other people are comparing things to when I tell you what he's actually doing right now. He is literally manning every gun in the fort. He's cooking for the troops. He's manning the drawbridge. He's cleaning the parapets. He's doing everything. He's trading furs with the local natives. He's doing everything that you need held down in the fort. Literally everything, while firing the guns and cleaning them and maintaining the ammunition. All of it. One dude. Kevin. And so my thanks to my comrade there. Literally doing everything. right now, and in the middle of a snowstorm. And there's breaking news out of Kyiv in Ukraine. So this is I'm getting this from Sky News, which is just over my left shoulder here in the front room of my in-laws here in Liverpool in the United Kingdom, where it's 9:25 a.m. and a full, not a cloud in the sky. Oh, there's the first chemtrails of the day, by the way. For all you conspiracy theorists, there is what looks like a Christian cross, could be a hot cross bun, could be the beginning of a certain kind of tartan. I don't know if there's a relation. We're about, 100 miles from the Scottish border. But anyway, the first chemtrail of the morning for all of the conspiracy theorists. It's underway here in Merseyside in the north of England, just off the North Sea and the Irish Sea. Right here. That's where we're at right now. And the beginnings of the first chemtrail of this Saturday morning are being woven right above my head right now in the skies over Liverpool. Anyway, so I'm seeing here, I am clearly dedicated to painting a picture. I love theater of the mind. And, I'm getting a little too into it, actually. But right now I'm reading on Sky News that the day before, I believe Zelensky is coming to Washington, D.C. tomorrow, Sunday, for meetings with Trump, as a parting gift. Vladimir Putin sent 500 drones and 40 missiles into Kyiv in Ukraine overnight last night. And now this Saturday morning, they are a third of Kyiv is without power. So emergency power cuts in Kyiv after this Russian attack overnight of 500 drones and 40 missiles. At least 11 people have been wounded. And a third of Kyiv is without power as we speak this. And if it's frozen where you are and it's cold here in England, you can imagine how insanely frozen it must be right now in Kyiv, Ukraine, where Russia made a statement that they have zero interest in negotiating any end of any war right now. But Zelensky's on his way to sit down with Trump. So we'll see. 1-800-848-9222. Sal in Staten Island. Good morning, Sal. Welcome to Another Side.
Hey, what's happening, TJ, man? Good morning, fellas. Good morning, New York. How are you?
Good morning.
So listen, in a nutshell, I had a few things, I wanted to talk about. I am a first-time caller. Honestly, TJ, it's been months. I listened to you guys, you and Lionel, throughout the night. And, honestly, you guys, your show is fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm actually sitting in my car, Highland Boulevard, right in front of the bike shop. If anybody out on the island is driving by, hello. Here's the thing. I wanted to, basically just touch base on a couple of things, also with the addiction fact. I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
I was saying to myself, the fellow before mentioned hitching or skitching, back on hanging on the back of cars.
Yeah.
And, you know what? I was born in 1980.
Okay.
And, I feel like I grew up in an era that is, pretty much, completely, on the dying, I guess, end. Anything born after 1990 ain't worth a crap. You know what I'm saying? Because these kids, as far as tradition, religion, morals, respect, one thing that my mother was very big on was, manners. Hello, thank you, and just simple stuff.
Yeah.
And I got two daughters, soon to be 22, 17, and I love them to death, but you know what? They don't have it. And it's just a real shame how a lot of these kids are nowadays, as far as, just the basics. And it's sad, with that being said, also, I'll tell you what, last week, Charlie Sheen, show that you did, fantastic, man. You guys had a great, had a great conversation. Honestly, you guys hit it out the park.
Thank you. Yeah, he's fighting a good fight there. He's trying.
Hey, listen, man. It takes one to know one, and I guess you've been in that boat before.
Yes.
I'm currently, in that ship. At the moment myself. this past April, I came home from rehab, and I had a couple good months. Things were on the upswing, and you know what? If it was easy, everybody would do it, right?
Right. Well, here's the thing.
Sure.
Let me just, Sal, what do you, so is it drinking? Is it drugs?
No,
what is it that you're fighting?
Narcotics, you know what I'm saying? And recently I got into something that I've never ever honestly done, 30 years, dabbling here and there, but it's, how can I say, there was a time when, people are able to be a functioning addict.
Right.
And I lost that part. You know what I'm saying? And
so here's the thing, Sal. Here's the thing. First of all, you did it before, right? You came out of rehab in April and you put together a few good months. That means that you can put together a good day. And if you get that one day, that whole 1 day at a time thing, which is, it's a cliche, but you did it, Sal. And you mentioned you've got girls. And it doesn't, and you also, because you've put together some clean days and months, that it doesn't have to be this way. And so
it's all about people, places, and things, man. Honestly, when they say that, like you said, as far as cliches, it seems a little, not far-fetched, but I mean, you know what? When they say people, places, and things, it literally is people, places, and things. And it kills me every single time. It really does.
And you just said something subliminally that you might have just said something really honest. One thing that we addicts know, and hard drugs was never a part of my story, but definitely tons of booze and drinking and driving and all that stuff. But here's the thing, man, is that an addict that stays an addict ends up in one of three places, ends up either in jail, an institution, or dead. And, you got these, and you've got not just your daughters and your family, but, it's all about you. Even though it's not supposed to be about us. It is about you. If you ever exhale and look in the mirror and go, what the hell is the point? Man, you're the point. You're sitting there in your car on Highland Boulevard in Staten Island in the middle of a snowstorm talking to an alcoholic named TJ. That God is why we're talking right now. God is why you heard me talk to Charlie Sheen last week, who is fighting against all odds. I would love for you to ask God to help you again. And I would love for you to try to string together a day. Maybe today, even if it means you go hour by hour and not picking up and doing another drug or having another drink. Maybe just today you can do an hour at a time. And by the end of the day, you'll have put together that hour. If you can just get to bedtime, you'll have done it again. And you can do it. You really can do it. Go find it. Maybe you find a meeting on a snowy day like today, and it's going to be you and 4 other addicts or drunks. Maybe you find that right conversation, Sal, and you can get that good month going again. What do you think? Maybe you do something like that?
Right after, no, listen, I mean, I'm all for it. And honestly, at least I feel like I'm not patting myself on the back here. But what I do is, at least I'm able to recognize it, and I'm straightforward with it. As far as,
you're living out loud, brother. Yeah, you're saying it out loud. Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit, I'm on the radio talking about it. It breaks my heart because, what it is I see that my support team that I have around me. Yeah. I got a terrific girlfriend who's just literally out of this world. I've been putting this girl through the mills for a little while now, and she's at her wit's end, and it's sad. I got my family, and everybody sees what's happening, and like I said, I'm honest with it. I try to not hide. It's not that I'm hiding it, but
nope.
My fact is, my issue right now is I keep putting things off. Now I was supposed to go a few weeks ago. I actually made it up to a place in Pennsylvania, and what happened was I got into an argument with my girlfriend right before I shut my phone off and handed it over, and I says instead of me spiting her, which is what I thought I was doing, I literally spited myself. And, it's been a couple of weeks now, but with the resolutions coming up and, the new year, honestly, I really want to put, more effort than I have put in the past. And, once this ball drops,
right.
I mean, I'm out of here, man. I'm checking in, and I'm really I gotta swing for the fences now.
You do, Sal. And listen, I gotta jump, but listen, here's the thing: you stay close. Yeah. Listen, keep calling. All right, keep coming back, because it does work if you work it. If you let God kind of take the wheel. Like you have in the past. Again, look, you're a smart guy. Us addicts, we are smart. We know what time it is. You're smart.
Yeah, we sure are.
Right, baby?
I got a ninth grade education, but I'll tell you what, boy, I surprise myself sometimes.
Hard knocks, right? Sally, you can do it. You've done it. You can do it again. And you, more than anybody on this planet, know two things. A, that you got a problem, and B, that you can fix it because you've done it before. And I think you also know that there's a God and a whole bunch of people that love you. And Absolutely. Count me as a new person who loves you. And
you're the man. Thank you.
You can do this. All right. But stay close. We'll help you. We'll keep talking to you, buddy. Love you very much.
Sounds good, brother. All right. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. And listen, New York sanitation, you guys are killing it out here, man. You guys, I want to go back and forth. And,
sanitation
thanks
gets
for the hard work, fellas.
You got it, baby. Sanitation gets right. Sally's, seal of approval there. Let's go to, Nate in the Bronx. Been hanging on a little while. Good morning, Nate. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning. Shifting gears a bit on the topic of immigration.
Yes.
And how it pertains to terrorism. So pretty much, are you familiar with a book called The Culture of Critique by Dr. Kevin MacDonald?
No, it sounds The Culture of Critique. No.
By Dr. Kevin MacDonald, that's correct. Okay. So pretty much with regard to immigration, it goes into, the history of the anti-restrictionist movement, the people who were responsible for opening up the borders in 1965. Because this isn't something that happened overnight. It literally took decades in the Congress to get the 1965 Immigration Act, which opened the borders to massive third world immigration. Because in 1924, 40 years prior, we had a sane immigration law that really was intended to keep the majority of the population of European descent. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Because, again, people back in the 1920s, they understood that without a majority population that's homogenous, the country has no cohesion. There's nothing that, is holding it together. There's
it's kind of what I was talking about in the first hour, right? Where you're talking about a melting pot versus a fruit salad.
Correct. But what we have now is a Tower of Babel. Nobody's connected to each other. There's no social trust. There's no cohesion. Many people in our society today are atomized. They're disconnected from family, disconnected from social institutions. Again, because there's no cohesion, and a big part of that is our immigration policy.
Now, you had mentioned to the screen or two that you wanted to talk about the hits on ISIS. Can you to keep it timely in terms of that? What were your thoughts on that?
Well, with regard to ISIS, two things. Number one, I want to make sure that Donald Trump, in his second term as president, doesn't stray too far in the realm of foreign policy at the expense of domestic policy.
Agreed. Here. I agree with you.
And I think there's some real danger that, with regard to the Caribbean, for example, that he might be way in over his head in getting the country involved in an unnecessary war there. But back to ISIS in Nigeria. ISIS in Nigeria, I think it's a legitimate target. And also that it's also kind of contradictory insofar as that he's hitting ISIS in Nigeria, but he just welcomed Ahmed al-Shara, the president of Syria, to the White House. When you have a similar situation going on in Syria, where you have Druze and Alawites and Christian minority that are also being targeted by terrorist elements, including ISIS, for massacres, for sectarian violence, And, so I think that if he wants to attack ISIS in Nigeria for attacking Christians or any other religious minority, I think he has to be more uniform. Mm-hmm. Last point that, it's not just Nigeria that has this problem with an Islamic insurgency. It's also Mali. It's also Chad. It's also Mauritania. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of countries in the Western Sahara that have a lot of problems with Islamic terrorism. And one country that's been filling the void, because many of these countries are former French colonies, they don't want French military in those countries because of the French colonial history in those countries. So in terms of filling the void, Russia has been stepping in militarily, not just the Wagner Group, but other paramilitary organizations linked to the Kremlin have been helping these countries' governments battle Islamic insurgencies. So I think there's a real opportunity there, not just in Nigeria, but across the Western Sahara and these countries in Western Africa for rapprochement or a cooperation between the United States and Russia to battle Islamic insurgents and terrorists in the Western Sahara, because Russia and the United States have a common interest insofar as that Islamic terrorism is something that affects both of these countries.
Yep. All right. Well, listen, Nate, brother, your wealth of knowledge. Once again, what's the name of the book? The question. What is it?
No, The Culture of Critique by
Culture
Dr. Kevin McDonald.
Critique. Right. All right. We got to find that book. Thank you, Nate. Thank you very much, Nate in the Bronx, for once again. I think Nate's called before with that kind of level of information. That's pretty cool stuff. And so look, I love this no new wars version of Trump. I love the no new wars, peace breaking out all over the world. I love that. And at the same time, I get the interventionist angle of knocking out drug boats coming from Venezuela. I totally get that. When I then though hear about, ground troops coming into Venezuela, not so sure. When I hear about strikes on ISIS, anytime, anywhere, ISIS, besides that's a carryover from the previous administration from Trump. Great. Okay, great. That's still Trump doctrine. Knock out the bad guys where they are. Boom. Good. Airstrikes. Bam. ISIS. Bad. Boom. Hezbollah. Ugh. Iran. Go. Okay. Good. Dig it. When I hear about boots on the ground, when I hear about, new confrontations, no new wars. Remain the Trump that is no new wars. Stay the no new wars dude. Keep being that guy. 1-800-848-9222. Let's get over to Andy in Westchester, in my home heath. Who else used to say that? In my home heath of Westchester. Let's talk to Andy. Good morning.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
Already talking about Christmas 2026. Yes.
Yeah, we missed it by one day, the white Christmas. It's coming down. It is coming down. The flakes. It's like at Gilligan's Island, the size of these flakes. You go on a 3-day excursion on there with these flakes coming down. But I just like to add something before I want to say something with that other caller. Yes. Russia has nothing in common with us. Russia wants to see a weak America, just like the communist Chinese, just like Saudi Arabia, no matter what they do, because they know how to spend the billions here, and just like Iran. They all want to see a weak America, because a weak America is the easiest way to destroy it from within. Yeah. Okay? So let's not be fooled and try to put out fairy tales, who's on our side and who we have in common with. We have nothing in common with them, and they're all for America being invaded. You know what? Let's face it. We are now, everybody in this audience, folks, you're all a foreigner in your own country, and your country is run by third worlders. Like that woman in Minneapolis.
I'm telling you, brother, that's what it's like here in the UK. We've been saying for months, and people who are hip to what's going on around the world, they know about free speech issues here in England. They know about what happens in London. We interviewed the pickpocket guy over there talking about these people who come from Romania and other places and start these petty crime syndicates. and the whole immigration thing. And after talking about it, I'm back here for the first time since I've been doing the show. And I'm telling you, dude, this country is absolutely, it doesn't feel like Great Britain. It feels like some European place where they've got out of control immigration and migration and, just F it. That's really what it feels like. It feels like the government has just said, well, F it. We are who we are. And none of it looks like the way England used to be.
Well, it's a refugee outhouse now.
Yep.
And I know Tommy Robinson gets a lot of heat from the government by the Brits. Listen, they want the invasion. The people who run these countries, people have to realize it now. I'm breaking people's hearts. They want this invasion of the West. They're being bribed. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, China is throwing money around and bribing all these people, whether politicians, families, the corporations. They're all being bribed to have this invasion take place. That's why it's taking place. These people don't have 5 seconds of thought in their head for what the future is. Like, you can extrapolate the future. I can. There are callers I've heard to talk radio who can do it. These people don't think in those terms. They know big money is being given to them from Saudi Arabia. They always have them in the White House. He buys a lot of real estate in New York City. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these countries take the foreign aid they get and they buy real estate in New York City, because there's a lot of vacant buildings, but they're owned by people. They're owned by foreigners who have 4 or 5 residents around the world. Maybe they just want a piece of real estate here in case their country.
And that was the case in London too. You had all these oligarchs and you had these expats who live in London, and then once they start taxing the daylights out of them, they skedaddle. They start running as they should, and then you find this weird real estate market. And now in New York City, that whole notion about an insanely devalued New York City, where then people can swoop in and buy up cheap. I wonder who it is that's going to be swooping in to buy up cheap. Is it going to be foreigners? Is it going to be, listen, I got to jump because I got to take this.
Can I just finish up with one thing?
Yes, please.
Finish up with one thing?
Of course.
Please.
Sure.
Folks, the big politicians and the big establishment in this country are being paid off by China, Saudi Arabia, okay? Well, these countries are paying them off to bribing them to keep the borders open and destroy America, to weaken America. That's how you destroy it, by weakening it, folks. Now you know the rest of the story.
Now you know the rest of the story. Thank you, Pally. All right, we'll talk to you later, and we'll talk to all of you when we come back. We're coming down the stretch here on another side of midnight. Stay right there.
All night long. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning, gang. It is down the stretch we come in the last few minutes of Another Side of Midnight here on the Red Apple Audio Networks. I'm TJ McCormack, and my gratitude to Kevin back home in New York City. I'm broadcasting from Beatleland. I'm broadcasting from Liverpool in the United Kingdom, and just the last 3 days, I drove past John Lennon's boyhood home probably about 7 times, going back and forth. My brother-in-law lives right around the corner from the house where John Lennon grew up, ultimately with his I believe his mom and then his aunt. I believe his aunt, wasn't it? His mom. I know Paul McCartney's mom passed away at an early-ish age, and I believe Lennon's mom died like in a car accident, like right outside the house, something like that, some awful These guys had, some darkness that they drew upon. But anyway, yeah, Lennon's house right over there, boom. McCartney's house, boom, with his brother and his dad over there, bang. And then you got, Paul and George and Ringo. They grew up near each other, and I've seen all these houses, and again, and the Beatles, boy, I tell you what, they are religion here as well. They should be. It really is. It is an incredible industry, the Beatles industry in Merseyside here in Liverpool in the United Kingdom. Let's get over to Mark in Jersey. Mark, good morning. Welcome to Another Side.
Yeah, there's no snow over here in New Jersey. Nothing. It's dry.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you ballpark? Where are you in Jersey, generally speaking?
Over in Hackensack. What are you getting your news from the BBC? They're lying to you. No snow. Nothing.
No snow. Nothing in Hackensack.
No.
So what's cooking then? England is great. England is great. No snow. It's sunny and it hasn't rained a drop since I've been here.
Have you seen anybody famous like Meghan Markle or Mrs. Peel or somebody? Anybody on the street?
Let me see. I keep my eyes out because all the northern stars, they all live in London anyway, so I'm not going to see any Oasis dudes. That's my new thing is Oasis. But no. My wife is the closest thing to a famous person here in Liverpool right now.
Well, you say it's breakfast time over there. What are you going to have? Some like crumpets and sauce or a hardtack and buttermilk or?
All of that. Yes. Exactly. Hardtack. A World War II reference with the hardtack. Yes. Yes. We're going to have a full English every single day. Sausages, mushrooms. Have you ever had a proper full English breakfast? It's weird.
Hell no.
No, it's weird. It's too much. No, I just drink coffee in the morning.
Well, what about tea? Are they forcing tea on you?
No, you know what? I was just going to say, I am a one in Rome kind of guy. And actually, I do drink more. I've been drinking more tea at home as well because I discovered a really good strong tea. It's called Yorkshire Gold is a brand. And I drink that at home. And here, as long as I let that tea really brew, I'm actually happy with tea because it actually, some of it can have more caffeine in it than coffee.
What about Liverpool? I heard they had like a Trifid problem a couple of years ago. How's that going on over there?
A what problem?
Triffids. Ask your in-laws when they come down. Ask them about the Triffids. They'll know.
I'll ask them about that. And right now there's a magpie in the front yard. There's been a few magpies, and there's foxes. There's a lot of foxes.
Oh, how about outside? You see any Spitfires or Stukas flying around?
Yes. Matter of fact, there's been a blitz. Yes, there's been a Spitfire. There were a couple of aerial dogfights, which have been fantastic. And of course, our boys won. And there's also one of those inflatable armies in the field behind this house. I think we're pretty much tricking the Germans because they keep sending the Zeppelins over this way to take photos, and so as long as we keep distracting them and they think all the activity is up here in Liverpool, they can continue business as usual, preparing for the invasion down south.
That's cool. How about Rendlesham Forest? Have you been there?
Are you sitting there with like a screen open? Rendlesham Forest? What the hell is that?
Yeah, it's a nice forest. It's got all these trees and stuff and bushes. And in the middle of it, there's like a big open area, and they got benches and stuff,
Mark, are you literally sitting there with like a Wikipedia for Liverpool or something like that? And what about... Where the hell have you been for this show? Are you just now showing up? Because I don't remember you calling and being this funny. This is very good stuff.
Well, at nighttime, how about going to the Slaughtered Lamb for like a pint or something like that, you know?
The Slaughtered Lamb. Yeah, we've got a lot of we've got a lot of pubs. We've got, the Arch and Anchor is right over here. And oh my God, I'm running out of time. You know what? I gotta jump, Mark. I gotta jump. You had me so happy that I took my eye off the clock. Joaquin in PA. Good morning, Joaquin.
Hey, TJ to the maximum. I got to say real quick in regards to Matt and the other caller, I'm 99% on the same page as Matt is, and I got to tell you the truth. I fear the EU. I fear King Charles a lot more than I do Putin, because they're the ones that are changing Western civilization by allowing it to be flooded and this BS in the melting pot. But I love the snow, and I have 2 fireplaces, but unfortunately this year I'm not using them as much. I have also one of those pellet stoves.
Okay.
And I used to love cutting wood, and of course, because of my issues, I can't do it anymore, But
right.
I got to tell you right now, during the holidays for me, that's when I really do miss being able to drink a little. I miss that blackberry brandy. I miss being able to spike the eggnog, with some rum or whatever it is, and
bourbon.
And I got to tell you, I miss being able to go outside to split firewood and have a glass of bourbon there,
I tell you, nice cigar.
Yeah, and I think you got to leave room for Mike, don't you?
Mm-hmm. No, he's not there. He's not there. So I guess we're going to talk to him tomorrow. No.
Okay. Oh, okay, great. And something?
Joaquin producing the show from Pennsylvania. What's that, buddy?
With the oregano oil from Pamela.
Yes.
She's 100% right. I have a tiny little bottle of pure oregano oil, and that stuff is extremely, extremely potent.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I got to find
it. You talked about the fireplace. I have a tubular rack.
Joaquin, we got to pick up the tubular. We got to pick that up. If we do the show live tomorrow, we got to pick that up tomorrow because the music is playing and I got to jump. Kevin is literally doing everything in New York, and I am so grateful for him being there to hold me up this morning. Gang, we're going to see how the throat responds to these 3 hours. If we can be live, we will be live tomorrow morning here on Another Side of Midnight on the Red Apple Audio Networks. I love you guys. Thank you for being there, and until we talk again, I wish you all the luck in the world.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.